There are so many RPGs out there that it's so hard to keep track of them. There's so many different ones that I can't even say that one is like the other. There's one type of RPG that I'm not really familiar with. That's the one where martial arts are the key component. I play a lot of games where you have swords as weapons, but nothing where you are a martial artist. I'm not talking about games where you can play monks or sword masters, but games where you are a wuwa master. There are a few games where I'm exposed to that because that isn't a genre I really expose myself to in gaming. I'm going to say I don't really look for anything in that genre, but that isn't true. I've read so many mangas that showcase martial arts to the point that I think I have a slight problem. But I do enjoy martial arts stories, but not really in gaming formats. The main reason, because it takes way too long to build up your character. If you never read or watched any of these martial arts stories, usually these characters start from nothing and then have to build themselves up. There's a lot of trials that they have to go through that makes them stronger. That is kind of hard to translate into a game. The reason I say that is because a lot of the MCs mix their skills together to make new skills, which isn't something most games offer. You kind of have whatever the game gives you and have to work around them. Now, the game we're going to talk about today gives you what is in the game and more. A little bit of life update. I just came back from like a tech for a tour, and it was a week. It was a week of so many different things. Like, usually when you tech, right, you're teching a show, you're kind of learning what the show entails, what you're gonna do during the show and everything, and how to like build and set everything right. But usually you still have a show. Like you usually do tech, and you have a show. We didn't have a show until like I think a day later. So we had a travel day and then had a show. The worst thing is we fucking did a show with so many people. Like it was an outdoor venue, so like we did a show there, which was very weird to me. It was also a condensed version of a show, so the truck we had packed wasn't really packed. Also, the tour I was supposed to be going on got canceled, so I'm not working that tour anymore, so that's fun. And yeah, but I'm still working a tour, thankfully. It's very much like what the hell is happening right now. Nothing I can do about it, but yeah. Anyway, back to stuff. Also, before we get into the video, I want to talk about something I dislike. This is off topic and not about the game. I just looked at a video of Vampire the Masquerade 2. I don't plan to play the game. The main reason I don't plan to play the game is because the game came out day one with DLC. Now, some people will see that as good because more content is a good thing. It isn't a good thing when content is locked behind a paywall, especially when the game was already delayed multiple times. Two clans are locked behind the most expensive version of the game, and I really dislike that. If I were to ever get the game, it would be on a massive sale because I'm not paying $80 for a game. I can go on for a while about how much I dislike this, but it's not what this video is about. Okay, so to showcase the things again, this is will already be out when this video comes out, but as you can tell, base game is $60. Then you have the deluxe editions with $69. Then you have the premium edition, which is $90. Now, this is not anything new, truthfully speaking. This is kind of how a lot of games will like run you. Now, the reason why this is a problem to me is if you scroll down, there's the standard edition, deluxe edition, and premium edition, right? The base game is all you get for the standard edition, and this is all you get for just having the base game. Is just like the standard edition is just the base game. That's it. For the Santa Monica Memories, you have to have the deluxe edition, right? You have to have the deluxe edition or the premium edition to get anything in this DLC pack, which again isn't anything besides just like some random bullshit you'll see in the game. Doesn't help you whatsoever. This most likely is where you sleep. This is just probably Neon Collection, a stop sign. Oh my gosh, it's probably like a weapon. This is a portrait. Yay. Really care about that. Then the $90 fucking price point, right? This is the premium edition. You don't get anything if you get deluxe. You have to have a premium edition for this. And because of it, two classes, well, two clans, which again, these clans are basically your classes in the game. I saw somebody say that, and I was like, it's weird. Whatever. Two clans are very much locked behind it, which means you kind of lose out on playing and using any of the skills because again, they're locked behind this Shadows and Silk DLC. Now the thing is, a lot of people have been saying how bad this is, and by the time this video comes out, this may be free when it comes out. I don't really know if that's going to happen, but I think they're going to probably have to walk it back because of how disgusting this is as a concept, and people are hating it. So we'll see though. We'll fucking see. But let's get back on topic. Heroes Adventure Road to Passion. Heroes Adventure Road to Passion is Wuxia open world RPG. You'll commence your journey as an underdog in the tumultuous martial world, and we met with a wide array of choices as you navigate your own heroic saga. And the tags are RPG, martial arts, open world, multiple endings, pixel graphics, strategy, and adventure. You can buy this game for $18, which is not bad for how many hours you can spend in it. So here it's Adventure Road to Passion was another game I got to because of my backlog dive. I remember one day I was diving through the RPG section on Steam and found this interesting game. It has a focus in martial arts, and you can become the ruler of this world by conquering the martial arts world. It seemed interesting, so I put it on my wish list and bought it when it came on sale. That was all the way in 2024. It took me a year to finally get to the game, and I have to say, I enjoyed it, but it did drag on for way too long. Also, I know when you get this video, it's going to be 2026, so it would be 2 years. But also, that's kind of anything. Like, this video could be like 10 years old, and be like, it's been a year. It's like, listen, I don't know what what time you're gonna watch something. Like, that's the thing. I don't know what time you're gonna fucking watch something, but it would be 2 years. I'm gonna keep that in. But yeah, it would theoretically be 2 years, but whatever. No, wait, when did I beat it? I beat it in August, I want to say. So when this comes out, it would not be August, so it wouldn't be 2 years. It'd still be a year. Huh. So there are a ton of things in this game that I didn't really care for. But those are things I'm not going to say is bad. So in this game, there are 2 things to look out for. Well, I guess 3. You of course have martial arts, which you can get from your sect, or from different things in the world. You have items, which houses everything in the world. The important thing are your stats and your skills. Stats being your skill tree and how you plan to build your character. You build up a set stat tree, which tells you what it does when you select it. So wind is swift as a wind. Fast growth, suitable for quick attacking strategies. You have dense as a forest, which is from forest. Calm on the surface but deadly, or making enemies suffer. So you just build, you have all this stuff and you build it. And you see exactly what it does and what it gives you. Last thing is your skills, which is something that is more annoying to build up. While everything else can be built up by leveling, this portion requires you to grind out things. Skills can go from pathfinding to mining to persuasion and many more. You have to actually do these things to level it up. My main gripe with this system is the fact that you have to do so many of these things in order to get it to the next tier. I was mining a ton and only got to the 3rd of the 5 tiers the game offers for the skills. Now the funny thing about most of these skills is that there was always ways you could level them without ever doing them. So just like in my last review, people in this game have social stats of sorts that you can level. Calling them stats is kind of weird since you can kind of speedrun it to max pretty easily. So to get these people to their max, all you need to do is give them the things they like. Now if you just had the good people books, it would be way too easy. Sadly, every item in this game has a rarity assigned to it. So some people wanted epic versions of their required item, so you have to find it and give it to them. I'll explain all that later, but for now, let's get back on track. With some of the characters in this game, give you experience for your skills if you get their intimacy stats high enough. The sad thing is you have to pay the in-game currency to them in order to get the experience. The sadder thing is that you can't do this with the gathering skills, like mining or worm capture. I haven't really used the worm for anything else besides feeding different animals, but I did a lot of gathering and it took a lot of stamina and resources from me. So like everything in this game, the tools also have rarities. The lower rarity of the tool, the faster durability plummets as you use it. The higher the rarity, the slower the durability goes down. I have no idea if legendary rarity tools have durability settings because I never found or crafted them. The skills are an interesting addition to the game because it kind of forces you to interact with the world. Also, before we get into the fun stuff, I have to make a confession. I got an ending for the game, but I didn't get any credits. I kind of rushed the ending I saw, well actually, that was a lie. I did what I believed was the right thing and then got an achievement for the game. It kind of forced on me and I wasn't really allowed to deny it whatsoever. I kind of took it because I wanted to finish the game before I had to leave for my tour. I have like 2 days till I leave. I don't ever plan to play a new game. I don't want to have to come back after months of touring and have to remember where I left off. Anyway, let's start to talk about this game. So, you probably realized that none of what I just said was completely right. Because at the end of the day, I literally just told you, well, I told you truthfully at the beginning about how I left for tour. My tour I was supposed to go on canceled, which is why I'm basically recording this right now compared to when I would really be recording. Actually, I would have been back regardless. But I would have had less time to do this and you would have heard more. But yeah, I have a while to like work on videos and stuff. I do have work plans, so we'll see if I have time to do anything else. The game starts off the same as most games in which you choose your difficulty. I believe there are 5 different difficulties, but like usual, I chose normal. As you can see, there are 5. There's easy is recommended for new players to start at the difficulty level. Normal, suitable for players familiar with turn-based games, which prefer not to engage in full auto battle mode. Hard, suitable for players adept at analyzing various combinations and seeking a challenging experience. Nightmare. To dominate or be dominated, it all lies with a single thought. Then free difficulty settings are customizable, Higher the difficulty, the larger the calculated coefficient. Next screen is your character creation screen. But not an actual character creation because you are just selecting your stats. You also have points to put in your stats, but you don't get as much as it shows that I have on the screen. Then you have your traits as well to add to your character, but again, you don't get as much points as I do. I'll explain the point system later on. You have two other things to choose when you start, which is your starting martial art and also items. You have 11 martial art forms to choose from, which includes 3 musical instruments, which are flute, lute, and zither. I have played few games where you can use the instrument as a weapon outside of being a bard. So of course I went to the instruments I rarely see, the zither. As you can see, the instruments have good AoE. The zither has the best AoE attack of the martial arts. Also we'll explain quickly what rare, epic, and legendary means. So like I said earlier, everything in this game has a rating system. Martial arts also follows that, and so rare skills are usually the weakest martial arts you can find, while legendary is one of the strongest ones you can get. You kind of strive to mix epic and rare martial arts so that you only have the strongest one to your person. Items are things you can bring into the game when you start. For some reason I can bring in legendary martial arts if I start again, but I probably won't touch this game for a while. So let's talk about traits, because I feel like that is the biggest part of character creation. When you start a fresh run, you get 30 achievement points, and 15 points to put into your stats. Mentality and beauty, musical talent, and toxicology talent. Talent and beauty adds 2 points to your intelligence and luck. Musical talent adds 30 points to your musical stat, which made the most sense to me since I went with an instrument as my weapon. Toxicology talent adds 30 points, and the only reason I went it was because I felt like it would help me against poison. But I feel like all these options build out your character before you even step out into the world. But was I happy with my choice? So once you lock in a weapon or martial arts, you're kind of locked into the martial arts throughout the whole game. If you even try to use a different weapon, a pop-up will appear telling you that the item isn't right for you. I don't really know if you can switch later on down the line, but I doubt it. Only really regretted my martial arts once, but that wasn't really on my path. But that I missed out on the best weapon for me. So you get 2 legendary Zither weapons in the game. One is locked behind the story quest, and the other one is RNG based, which sucks, but it is how the game decided to do it. I didn't really know about the weapon being locked behind the quest because I would have done it if I knew about it. The bad thing is that I couldn't even go back to do it since I didn't have a save file that far back. Okay, now I'm gonna get some thing. I did have a save file that was further back than where it currently was, but I didn't want to have to grind out the game to get to that point just to get the legendary weapon. It would have taken me way too long, and because I was on a time crunch, couldn't do it. That meant I missed out on the only legendary weapon that wasn't RNG based. Once that mission is finished, you're locked out of that weapon. The RNG weapon is behind an auction that is already something as RNG based. So you have to go to an auction at a certain time and then save scum to get the items you want. The really bad thing is there isn't much information up there when it comes to this game. I looked up information on the legendary weapon auction, but the little bit of information I saw on it told me that you just had to get lucky. I didn't really want to take hours of a stream to get the item I wanted. I'm not going to blame the game because I missed out on the key item of my build. Just make the player know to pick it up on the next run. I was happy to play with the Zither, so it was something new and unique for me to try out. Now I was worried to give my allies all these amazing martial arts that I wasn't able to touch because I used a different weapon. I was so used to other games allowing you to use a martial arts, regardless of what weapon you picked up. I still like the decision to exclude other martial arts unless you selected the weapon because it added to your want to replay the game. But I had fun with my weapon choice. So I can easily see combat being a turn-off for a lot of people, since it is basically a turn-based point-and-click game. You could truthfully just play the fights in auto. Only have to pay attention when it comes to the story portions. I also think a lot of people would be scared streaming this game, mainly because of how much reading is involved in this game. There's absolutely no voice acting, so you'd have to read everything aloud yourself, and it would be a lot to someone that plans to stream the game. My runtime in this game was 71 hours, which would be less if I didn't save scum for auctioning and gambling. I'm not a degenerate. It's only gamble when it was a part of the mission, and also when it was first introduced. But combat wasn't anything inventive or different, since I kind of was just an auto, let's say it was a challenging fight. I would just see how much damage the characters would do, and if they didn't one-shot them, then I took it off auto and took control. But for the most part, fights weren't that tough, unless you were fighting sect leaders. I also knew that late game, the only reason I was losing at the big bosses was because I didn't get my legendary weapon. If I was able to get my legendary weapon, I would have added 600 to my total amount of damage. To give you some context, there are some really powerful sect leaders who you can fight late game. You fight them to prove you are one of the best martial artists in the world. But the problem was that I couldn't kill these guys. We would do about the same amount of damage, but their special would kill me. I killed one of them once, but they revived themselves and didn't kill me, so it wasn't a win. Mind you, I was doing this with an epic weapon, which means I would have easily won with a better one. Anyway, you can either go through this game alone or with party members. I went with party members because I wanted to be able to experience all the different characters in the game. I went solo without a party in many games. I didn't really want to make this game any harder for myself. So I went with companions. I am happy I did, because I was able to experience all the other martial arts classes and decide what I wanted to play next. Now I didn't romance anyone, because no one really spoke to me. But that was probably because of the art style of the game. Also, something I didn't realize so I was close to beating the game was that you can get a style upgrade if you bought a $2 DLC. Well, this is a thing I don't know, but it is. It's Canvas of Heroes. It's literally this one, this Canvas of Heroes. It just updates the graphics, essentially. As you can see, the cards are all, like, different. Like, I would actually romance her now because of how nice she looks. But, like, the story is interesting, but truthfully, I would have to give you the same story I gave you when I explained Tainted Grail. You kind of make the story as you go throughout your decisions. I decided to join this clan of this dying old man, which kind of forced me down the path of good. Still only brought down benevolent stats, which is fine, but there was really one thing I disliked. So in this game, there is this random widow, and if you go inside her house, you get your benevolence put down. I don't really understand why this is a thing, because you aren't married when you go inside. At least I wasn't. I would go in by accident a few times, it would drop my stats. The worst thing is that once you do this particular thing for her, you basically get a free bed to use. So why wouldn't you go in there? For most of the game, you would have to pay to sleep at an inn in order to sleep in the game. Well, you can find a place to sleep for free, but you would sleep in an abandoned house that could give you health problems. But you would go throughout the game and make decisions that change the outcome of the world. This is dependent on your strength, and also how much fame you acquire throughout the game. My story could be different than your story, which is great, but it does feel like it drags on. I took longer than I needed to play this game because I missed out on my legendary weapon. Because of that, I couldn't finish the quest I wanted to. Even the ending I got wasn't anything I wanted because it was kind of forced on me. But there was a silver lining to it all. Once I got this forced ending, I was asked if I wanted to continue my journey and go to the main menu. Of course, I said main menu because I need to be done with this game because I'm going on tour soon. Overall story was right, but could kind of go on for a while because of the quest and story in the game, which isn't a bad thing. There was so much content I missed out on because I was on a time crunch and also because it was my first playthrough. If I wasn't, then I would have done a lot more. If I wasn't on a time crunch, then I would have done a lot more. So this game has a ton of replayability, and I showed that in the beginning of the video. If you remember when I showcased the character creation screen, I talked about the points not being correct. So those points are based on achievements. The more achievements you get while you play, the more achievement points you can use in your next run. That means you can get more traits and be stronger in the beginning of the game. You can also start off stronger because you can put more points in your stats. Also, you are kind of limited to one weapon sec per run, which means you can choose different sects for different playthroughs. Now, why choose different sects and not just stick to one? So every sect has their own martial arts you can only learn if you are part of them. That means you miss out on them if you don't join it. Again, it's just a martial arts, and if you really want to learn something from a sect master, you can just learn it from their corpse. Yeah, for some reason a lot of the enemies will drop their strongest martial arts when they die. I guess it is a good way to always keep their skills brushed up. Also, at least someone strong will use it and not just keep it in their inventory and never use it again. But yeah, there is a bunch of things you can do and people you can align with on different runs. You can also be evil and align yourself with people you can't align yourself with when you are good. But I feel like this game is one of those games you get more out of it when you replay it because your character gets stronger the more you play it. Which I like a ton. Short life update since I kind of already updated you already. I'm going to Tech a tour, and then I'm going on tour. I'm truthfully going to record this when I'm back from Tech. The funny thing is, when I'm back, I'm going to go on tour, and not going to be back for months. I wouldn't say I wasn't nervous, because this was my first time I was leading on the tour. The only thing is that I don't even know what the plan is for the week, since we didn't have any schedule for the days to come. I know where my flight is, and what the plan is when I land, but that's kind of it. I feel like it'll be annoying, but I kind of hope it isn't. The tech will be a big learning experience for me because I need to relearn things that I have truthfully forgotten. But hopefully it goes well. I think the most annoying thing is that this is a bi-weekly tour, so I won't get paid when I really need it. The good thing is that I'll get my first paycheck when I actually start my tour. So this is going to be an update of an update. That's not going to be true. I hopefully will get paid this week. If I don't get paid this week, I would hate life. But I hopefully get paid this week. I'm probably not going to record. I can't say that because I think I'm gonna make a video this weekend, so we'll see. But I'm most likely gonna work this time this week or next week. I don't fucking know. But it's a weird situation. Again, it was a learning experience. I know now that I am going to go work that tour. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It's still bad, but it's not as bad. I had to like run it by myself like the other day, and that was the most stressful and annoying thing. But we're fine. I lived. Nothing fell. Nothing went on fire. Like, it's alright. Like, the hardest part about that tour for me is literally the load-in. But that's easy. Show's fucking easy. Like, it's not like I'm doing a lot, so I don't have to worry about that. Like, I'm doing jack shit during the show. It's fun. But yeah, like, it's fine. I just gotta make sure everything's programmed right. Which, again, I had to basically do it on my own on Monday, I want to say. No, on Sunday. And without really anybody's help. And I got it done. I did have, like, somebody from, like, front of house tell me how it looked. But I got it done and it worked and I was happy. Anyway, back to the review. Oh wait, also I'm like looking for a new mic. So I'm like looking for something that is kind of close to the Shure SM7DB, but I'm not gonna buy it. It's like $600. I'm trying to not find a big chunk of my paycheck on the mic. So I'm buying something that is cheaper because I feel like you can buy something that's as good, just won't have the Shure branding on it. So I'm gonna buy something new, and hopefully this audio quality is pretty good. But we won't really see that until I buy it. I will be using it for a video that I'm recording while I'm home. So I hopefully, like I said, if I get paid this weekend or this week essentially, as soon as I get paid, I'm gonna buy the new mic, and hopefully the next time I record a video, I will be using that mic. I kind of doubt that's gonna be the case. I don't even think I'm gonna stream. Like, truthfully speaking, I was debating if I want to stream today. But as you can tell, I'm recording, so that's not happening. And I was like, all right, cool. I might stream, I might not. Like, I probably not even going to work out because it's kind of late for that. Usually, I work out during my prep, and I didn't really do any of that. I'm probably just going to go sleep a bit. So yeah, that's really it for the update, though. Overall, I liked the game, but would have liked it more if I got my legendary weapon. Combat got stale really fast because of the fact that every battle could get autoed. The worst thing was that times 4 wasn't fast enough for me to speed through the fight. I would say you could combine martial arts together to create an ultimate move because that made the most sense to me. There were characters that didn't have ultimates late in the game because, for the most part, ultimates were learned through certain skills. I feel like if you can synergize moves to make an ult, it would add so much more to the game. Once you got your own house, inns were thrown away since you had your own house to sleep in. Crafting was kind of a hard thing to complete because of how long it took to level everything. You could go through 3 levels on your own character before any of your crafting skills leveled. I get that you only have 5 levels to level in the skills, but it took way too long to get through anything. This game had a lot to offer. I'm sad I didn't have the time to get through it all. So the reason I beat the game when I did is because I'm going on tour. I didn't want to stop playing a game and then have to go back to it after 4 months on the road. I wanted to come back to a fresh game, and thankfully I was able to beat the game before I left. I also knew I had 2 days left before I had to leave, which was the day I streamed. Also, I had to decide on not playing any game that was new because of the same problems. I decided to play my Bard character in Baldur's Gate 3. I also decided to stream for less time on my last day so I could do laundry and go to sleep early because I had an early flight. There was a ton of planning needed for the week, which I feel like could be too much for a lot of people. The best thing is that during my first day off, I'll buy a new drawing tablet so I can draw while on the road. My drawing tablet is very old and want to get a new one for a while. I feel like it would be smart to do it while on the road. That just means I'll be drawing whenever I have free time and when I'm not stressed. Sadly, I'll probably stress a lot because I'm in a lead role and won't have any type of help. When I say help, I mean help from an assistant, since I will just have to get help from hands and that is it. Okay, I'm gonna add one more thing. That's really it. The other thing I like had discrepancies with this game was a mapping system. And the thing is, the map isn't bad. It's just the fact that like the map isn't in English. It's in whatever it's in the whatever language is spoken in the game. So like I can't really identify what region is which because it's not in. And again, I'm playing in English, but the background of the map isn't in English, so you don't know unless you look it up which area is in which because again, nothing's really labeled in English when it comes to the map. But anyway, that's it with this review. Next video will be games in my backlog that I recommend, but I have no idea when I will have time to write that script and upload that video. Hope you all have a good week and a great day. My name is Only Incubus, and that is my time. Later days. Alright, love you all. Sending you kisses consensually. Mwah. Alright, my fucking lips are dry. It's so dry. Alright, love you all. Sending you kisses. Love you. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Alright, love you all. Peace.